Hello, Steve. Hello, Jill. It's time to game classy.
This call is being recorded.
Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. You don't listen to Chapel Roan, do you? You're not.
I don't even know what a Chapel Roan is, so no.
She was like the hotness from last year in terms of like young pop stars that were gonna sacrifice on the altar of capitalism.
I see. Yeah, no, I don't. I listen to. I put on a vibe that I want on my YouTube Music, and then I thumb up or thumb down things as they come.
Yes.
So I put on like I want to listen to like Japanese metal music, and then I just thumb up and thumb down accordingly after that.
Yeah, you're not gonna have your finger on the pulse, Steve.
No, I generally don't like a lot of music.
No, it's true. Gamers in general have not really into popular music.
It's not even that popular music. I just generally don't like music. I don't know how to explain it.
No. That's 100% like most gamers out there. Like, I'm not saying you in particular, but most gamers that I've ever talked to, when the music comes up, they just will say something that I'm just like,
oh, I like listening to video game soundtracks.
Yeah, exactly. That's what 99% of them say. It's like, I like listening to video game soundtracks. How come people don't take video game soundtracks seriously as an art form? I'm just like,
I mean,
I've definitely, but no one cares that much.
I've definitely thrown on like Elder Scrolls ambiance with rain to like fall asleep, and maybe like if I was doing Japanese study, like I've done that. I don't know if that counts.
But learning Japanese?
No, I am not. But that is a very funny song about masturbation, like most songs from the 80s are.
Everything from the 80s is either about masturbation or date rape.
It's true. Sometimes both.
Sometimes both. I wear my sunglasses at night. Definitely about date rape. Sorry,
Total eclipse of the heart. Masturbation.
Like, what do they call? What do they call it now on YouTube so they don't get demonetized or something?
Grape.
Grape.
Yeah, they say graping. He totally graped him.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Which is hysterical because it's from a fucking the whitest kids you know bit. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. People are ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah, what was I doing? Oh yeah, there's Chapel Roan. That's the reason because I was thinking about that today. I had my car had a blowout while I was driving on 294, so I had to change my tire. And when I was sitting in the tire repair place, they played like the same 3 Chapel Roan songs like over and over and over again because it's terrestrial radio, and I never listened to like terrestrial radio, and I was like, oh my God, why? How did people put up with this or still put up with this?
Yeah, I think the last, so the level of popular music I listen to speed exposure wise, I think the last big hit that I heard was Old Town Road.
Old Town Road. Wow, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah, I think that was the last like super big hit that I've heard. Yeah, because I don't know. I just do the YouTube Music algorithm while I'm and I mean I really only listen to music while I'm running. So I don't want to listen to like generic pop songs or whatever, like, or pop music when I'm running. I want like something with a high BPM because I want to run with a cadence. So it really helps.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. I'm with you on that one. I like one of the things I really like running to is I like running to hour-long procedural shows. Not I should say procedurals, but like hour-long dramas that you'd see on like WB. So like Supernatural or Flash or any of those syndicated shows like Stargate or something like that.
Oh, and you just get zoned in.
Well, no, it's because they actually have a rhythm to them where it's like every 15 minutes, it's like, it hits certain beats, so you can run to it very easily.
Huh.
Yeah, because it's all divided up into like 15-minute chunks, right? So
I guess that makes sense.
Have to hit certain beats before like each act break. Like that's how writers learn how to write. So like the vast majority of them are really easy to run to, especially if you're doing like a 15-minute mile or something like that, taking an easy jog or something. So it's fantastic to run to on the treadmill because you can put your phone up. You can watch the show while you're doing it.
The phone or a tablet in front of you. Yeah, it makes sense.
Stargate was best for that.
Yeah, I could see Stargate. Well, Stargate also has those nice whatever pace of action.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you got the action in there. You got to hit these beats. It's great.
I could see it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Classy. Welcome to the Pink Pony Club. I'm your host, Chapel Rowan.
Da-dun-dun-dun-dun. We did it.
And with me, as always, my co-host, Steve.
Hello.
Yeah, today we're talking about how the gaming community has no idea what the hell it's doing.
Do we? Does it? Have...
It's just with all the tariffs and everything like that. People are freaking out again. I mean, the news that's coming out is all tangentially related to the tabletop. I did read a pretty great in-depth article about the failure of Star Wars tabletop gaming over the last 5 years, how it's just no one knows what to do with an extremely popular brand.
I mean, it's a I don't know how to explain it's because they focus more on the cash in and not on making a good game. I think that's the easiest way to explain it.
Sort of. Yeah, it basically came down to they were talking about how when the Asmodee takeover and the moving of the Star Wars license from Fantasy Flight to Massive what's it? Fuck. My head's exploded.
Atomic Mass?
Atomic Mass. I was like, Mass something. Atomic Mass.
Mm-hmm.
How that Atomic Mass was basically they saw the cost overruns of pre-painted figures for X-Wing and what's the fleet game? Armada. And we're just nope. And so that the only two games that they have are the games that they created, which is Shitterpoint. And then they have a smaller scale version of Shitterpoint with Legion. And then they're like, well, Legion's doing pretty good and Shatterpoint's doing pretty good. And they're essentially the same, not the same game, but it's 28mm Star Wars game. And they're like, okay, we're here. And then there's no any of the ship games that people love with Star Wars.
It makes sense. I mean, and also there's a very big historical precedent for the Star Wars IP to basically, you're only going to get fooled so many times, even if you are someone who only plays Star Wars games, into buying the same thing over and over. And actually it's funny that it's spread to not, because this was the issue with the card game or Star Wars card games for the longest time. And it's funny that it's spread to Star Wars miniatures games, but you have a Star Wars card game that is good. I don't care what anyone says, the Star Wars Decipher game is good. If you do not think it is a good game, you are just wrong. It is
a great game.
It has issues, yes, of course. All card games do. But the issues that the Star Wars card game has are just general card game issues, not issues with that game. Mechanically, it's very fun. It catches the feel. If you play it casually, you can do all sorts of cool stuff from the movies. And it's, you get Boba Fett, you can throw him in Slave One, you can fucking capture Han Solo, you can do exactly what you want to do. It does it perfectly. It does what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
But then what happened? The IP went up and Decipher lost the IP rights. So Wizards bought it, and Wizards made a game to capitalize on. Well, Wizards hoped to capitalize on the prequels. And what did Wizard make? Wizard made Young Jedi. Absolute fucking dog shit card game. So fucking bad. Terrible. Unbelievably bad card game. Holy shit. First of all, you look at the back of the Decipher Star Wars card game, and what does the back look like? Perfect design. It looks mechanical. It has the symbol of the Empire if it's a dark side card. It has the symbol of the Rebellion if it's a light side card. Done. Super easy. You look at it, you're like, okay, this is a nice design. The back of the cards look appealing. The back of the fucking Young Jedi cards, it's a picture of fucking Obi-Wan's face holding a lightsaber or Darth Maul holding a lightsaber, and then it says Young Jedi next to their face. That is a horrible design for the back of a card. Like, that's terrible.
Yeah, but it's great if you want to do a Ewan McGregor tribute.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to jizz on a card of Ewan McGregor, you've got a great target right there.
That's all you saying, man.
That's that. Oh, do you not know the parlance of tribute?
No, I do. I'm just saying that you're the one who said who took it that extra mile.
Yeah, I mean, that's immediately what I thought of. Like, I mean, who wouldn't think about jizzing on an Ewan McGregor trading card? But so like, and then like they made the card face, the front looks like ass. I don't know, like everything about Young Jedi is just bad. Like, it's just fucking bad. And of course, every single card in Young Jedi is only from the Phantom Menace. They don't have anything else. So they literally took, I mean, what is it? That's throwing the baby out with the bathwater in like the biggest way possible. Like, holy shit, is it bad? So if you bought into the Young Jedi card game, well, not now you've lost all your previous cards from the Decipher game. Now you have Young Jedi, and Young Jedi flopped because it was fucking shit garbage.
It was a garbage game.
Yeah, it was just awful. And then Wizards made after the failure of Young Jedi, they did another Star Wars game, which I believe was just called the Star Wars Trading Card Game. I think that was the full name. It was just Star Wars, the trading card game. And so,
you know, we've been talking about Star Wars and we haven't said I only play Star Wars games.
I did. I said that. I said even if you're the guy who only plays Star Wars games. Yeah, I mentioned it. So the Star Wars trading card game that they made, which was the name, good back. I did like the back of that one. It's the cut segment of the original A New Hope poster of Luke's hands holding the lightsaber straight up, and it says Star Wars trading card game like that. I'll give you that one. That's a good back. That's a good back for your card game. Visually, the front of the cards are nice. Like they did a good job. Visually, they did that one justice. Problem with that game is, holy shit! Like I played this game a lot actually. Gameplay was just real fucked up. It was just not so. The idea was they did a 3-zone game. So you had a land war, a space war, and a not land, like also land, but like a PvP zone. So like you had like one area that was, so it was split into lanes almost like a MOBA. Yeah. And so you had one that was just like, you know, like it
was like just a board game though.
No, it was a trading card game. It was 100% a trading card game. Yeah. That's the thing. It was a trading card game that was split into 3 lanes. But what it actually was, it's funny you said board game, is that because of the way it turned out mechanically, is it was actually a dice game, because you rolled so many fucking dice playing that game. It was absolutely absurd. So that one kind of limped along for a while. And then what happened again? Well, the license ran out and they didn't renew it because the game wasn't very successful. Mm-hmm. So what happens then? There's another Star Wars card game, the Star Wars Living card game from Fantasy Flight. By all accounts, quality game. People really liked it. It was doing okay. You know, it has the living card game issues, which, you know, that there's ways that those can be addressed, which never have been. But so then, you know, you had that happen. And then what happens? Oh, the living card game or Fantasy Flight gets bought. Asmodee, you know, crushes all of their in-dev games, and then they have Fantasy Flight make a fucking another Star Wars card game that's a collectible card game. Like, and so that was. I don't think I missed any, but that's 5 different Star Wars collectible card games. What's the biggest card game in the world? Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering.
How many versions of Magic the Gathering have there been? One. Fucking one. Yeah. So, and that spills into the issue with every single Star Wars game that's ever been made, is that it's always being made by a licensee. So you're always going to have a shelf life. You're going to have people who don't handle the IP properly. And you're going to have people who remake the same type of game over and over. And you're going to have diminishing returns on that. Like, it's like X-Wing. Like, I am sure there are X-Wing players who are never going to touch any other Star Wars miniatures game. They're just going to keep playing X-Wing. now you've got Armada, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not doing Armada anymore. We're doing this game that's like Armada, but you have to buy the minis now and paint them. Yeah, it's
Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. It's so simple. Yeah, it is just one of those like
more like Blandor.
Yeah, I don't, and then what do they do? They did Legion, and then Legion's not the same scale as Armada, so very specifically, you can't use your Armada miniatures.
No, well, Armada was the spaceship one.
Oh, not Armada. What Legion?
Yeah, there was Legion and there's Rebel Assault, Rebel Assault, which was more of a board game. Legion and Shitterpoint are all technically figure games, all at different scales.
Yes, all at different scales, so that they 100% ensured that your figures were not cross-compatible.
Mm-hmm. And then there's people who are putting out epic shit tons of resin minis.
Yeah, STLs and
3D
stuff.
printing.
Yeah.
That are there's so many out there right now, and they're all relatively good. There's a couple people who do some fantastic stuff. Like they'll literally be like an episode of Andor, and then within 12 hours they have sculpts from that episode out. I shouldn't say that, but it's close. It's kind of insane that's how it works. But when I see that, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. There's no rules for them in any Star Wars game that's currently out there, but whatever, that's cool. And I will say, I do think that the Star Wars role-playing game Star Wars role-playing games have always been excellent in the gaming sphere. I don't think that there's ever really been. I think after West End Games lost the license, there was one that when I think was it Wizards or was it? Yeah, I think it was Wizards who had it.
Yeah, Wizards did a D20 one.
Yeah, that one wasn't that great. I remember that. But then when Fantasy Flight took over, even with their funky dice, that system is still really good.
There were two D20 Star Wars games.
Right.
One of them was the first one was pretty mid, but then they did a revised version, which was much better. Minus it has the issue of third edition scaling problems, where like once you get to high level, it's just like it just kind of like gets fucked up. Which I mean, again, you can easily solve by just doing E6, which is like the easiest fix for every D20.
I've always said that system for like a sci-fi game works. That setting for a sci-fi game works really well because there's no real science to it. It's all it's all fantasy.
Yeah,
and you basically are just a bunch of people hopping around the galaxy being murder hobos, just like the fucking rebellion. It works.
It's literally what you do. Like but it fits the universe. Like that is the vibes are correct.
Yeah, there's always been a good Star Wars RPG system. Card games, mini games, not always. There's been a couple good board games, but most of them are just reskins.
Yeah, which I mean that's fine. I don't have an issue with reskins.
I kind of do a little bit, but that's just
if they're really well done, or if so hang on. I should let me redux that just a little bit. If the source material happens to be very coincidentally good for the game's design. So like, what was it? So this is an opposite one, but I'll use this as an example because it's the first thing I thought of. So like the Dune board game is very good, and the Twilight Imperium reskin. So this is backwards, but the Twilight Imperium reskin of the Dune board game was also excellent because the mechanics really, really fit the universe of Twilight Imperium. So if you've got a board game that your mechanics happen to really, really fit the universe of your IP, I'm also okay with that. So like, I don't know if you I know it's kind of, I know it's a bit silly, I guess, because it's, it's always, it's a basic war game, but like Risk was always a good reskin for many, like the Lord of the Rings Risk, the trilogy edition. Great version of Risk. Game. It's great because it changes one of the biggest problems of Risk is like the only way to win was just roll better basically. But they added the Fellowship track, so you actually have a little sub game going on while you're playing Risk. Which is that's some good design. Way to make your Risk game more interesting by adding something from the source material that you're using.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I always tend to when I play a game, I always tend to want to go with the original version of the game before I go with any skins. Because I just don't like any IP enough where I'm like, ooh, Lord of the Rings Wingspan. Ringspan.
Yeah. Well, Lord of the Rings also has
Ringspan.
Lord of the Ringspan. Lord of the Rings has specifically one of the best board games ever, and it's specifically made for Lord of the Rings anyway, which is War of the Rings. So, like, if you want to play the best Lord of the Rings board game, it is right there.
If you have 24 hours to play a board game,
yeah. Well, I mean, yes, you also need that.
Don't look at anything other than War of the Ring. I know a lot of people shit on Battle of the Five Armies, but it looks like it's a much tighter, faster game than War.
It is. It is a tighter version of War of the Ring, which I mean, that game's also very good. I actually would suggest if you're interested in War of the Ring, you should pick up Battle of the Five Armies, play that a bunch, and then you can go up to War of the Ring because War of the Ring is it's a more complicated Battle of the Five Armies. When's
GW drop? Well, that's weird. Because they had the new edition of Lord of the Rings that was ready to drop, and has it dropped? I haven't seen it drop. I don't think so. I don't think it's out yet. No, and it was they had announced that way before that they were talking about Horus Heresy. That's crazy.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I'm looking.
I mean,
they got it. No, yeah. They're all just talking about everything is. Well, I guess it makes sense. Everything is just talking about Saturnine now. So
yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like, where the hell did all the Lord of the Rings stuff go? They thought they were going to drop that new edition this summer, but c'est la vie. Yeah. Speaking of Horus
Heresy, pushed to the back of the line.
Yeah. Speaking of Horus Heresy, I was kind of an idiot in the last cast. I totally forgot that all that leadership stuff, the leadership cool, all that. The new stats and everything like that. They already had that in the new version of Necromunda for years at this point.
Oh, so they threw the Necromunda stat lines into...
Pretty much, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of bleed into what they were doing with Necromunda into the new version of Horus Heresy. I gotta say, everything that I'm hearing about this new edition sounds fucking fantastic.
All right, well, that's good.
Yeah, so they're actually... doing specific so remember those status things I was talking about where it's, you can be pinned, suppressed, stunned, or routed. So specific guns are going to be able to make you pinned, make you suppressed, make you stunned, and make you routed, and then you have specific effects on top of that, so that way it's like you can't charge, you can't counterattack, you can't do whatever as you're being shot with these specific guns. So if you have a unit. So, I'm assuming, this is just me being an ass, making an ass out of you and me, that the Night Lords are going to be all about pinned. So you're going to want to give your guys rotor cannons. You give them the cannons, rotor cannons, they pin the unit, and then you get a bonus for attacking that specific pinned unit, and they can't do something because they are pinned.
Okay.
So you want to, team your army with the type of status that they like to give.
Okay. I can see it.
Yeah, so you don't want. So it's you won't get a bonus if the unit is suppressed. So you'd avoid the weaponry that suppresses units.
That makes sense.
Because I think it's suppressed. You can't you're in order to shoot if the unit is suppressed. It's going to be a -2 to hit or some nonsense like that.
Okay. Yeah. Stacking debuffs and whatnot.
Yeah. So it looks like it's got a lot of buff debuff that's going to be kind of interlinked with specific armies, specific units, and specific weaponry.
Okay.
The only problem with that is I feel like it's going to pigeonhole a lot of specific armies. So it's like Night Lords in particular. Why are you taking this gun when you get no bonuses for it?
Oh, right. They create a thing that's but rather than just flavor, it becomes kind of mandatory. You should only do this.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to happen. It's going to become mandatory. You know, fun is mandatory.
Fun is mandatory.
Yes, and the new weapons kind of rules are great. I like the way that they're doing it. It's also very similar to Necromunda, not completely, but now it's a lot more. Special rules are affecting the stat lines, and it just seems like it's a game that's going to be designed around like a lot of killing is going on, but there's also, and you won't like this, it sounds like there's going to be up to 3 times as many dice than there were in the previous edition.
No!
There were so many dice in the last edition, and this edition makes it look like, holy shit, there's so many dice.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay, so for example, bolters, standard bolters, and even in the last edition, it was like, okay, you get 1 shot per bolter, and if you're half range, you get to fire 2 shots. Like, that's awesome, that's kind of cool. Now this one, all bolters are just standard 2 shots.
Oh no.
But because there's a special rule called Fury of the Legion, if you have 20 Space Marines in 1 unit, you could have up to 60 shots being fired.
Jesus.
So yeah, you're rolling 60 dice, or you could roll 10d6 10d6 6 times.
Well, that just makes me want to use a phone to roll my dice instead of rolling dice.
I know. I love it because you know me, I love rolling dice, but
I mean, I like rolling dice as well, but I like actually being able to roll the dice, not have to roll the dice, then roll the next set of dice, then roll the next set of dice.
I need more dice. I love it because you could totally see the people who are dice roller flippers. I don't know what the correct name for them.
Serial dice rollers.
No, they roll the dice and they will be like, they'll pick up the dice that score before you get a chance to even really look at the dice.
Oh yes, my favorite.
So you're like, did you actually hit all those?
My favorite.
Yeah, those people. Those people.
Yeah, well, they're excited about more dice for sure.
Yeah. They but I do like that they have range, firepower, which specifically in the stat line, right? So you got range, that's fine. All guns have the range, but firepower tells you how many shots you get. So it used to be everyone got 1 shot, but there would be a modifier on that one in the special rules. Okay. They've moved that now. So it's all in the stat line. So your firepower for bolters 2. Then you got range strength, which is, your normal strength. The reason that they have range strength and now they have melee strength is because melee strength is going to be a strict modifier.
Okay.
So it's not like user, it will say, +4, and you do that to your own strength.
Okay.
Yeah. So your strength is now always a modifier on a melee weapon to your stat strength. It's much better that way. And of course, armor penetration and damage, which is new. Because that damage, it'll say like it does 1 wound or it does 3 wounds. It might even say like D3 wounds, but it's there in the stat line. It's not in the special rules, which is awesome.
So they kind of Age of Sigmar did a little bit.
Yeah.
That's how Age of Sigmar worked.
Yeah. So it's like they've taken the best from like all of the systems that they have and kind of merged it all together. And didn't add anything from 40K. So
Age of Sigmar remains the testing ground for rules for their other games.
Yeah. I definitely think that they do that. They definitely test out. Well, they've done that with the new edition of Age of Sigmar right now. You're going to see all the changes in new 40K coming from this new edition of Age of Sigmar, which everybody generally likes, but no one plays.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because they invalidated all your armies, so now you have to build a new army. So by the time you've got your new army built, the new edition has come and you can't play.
No, Steve, you got it wrong there. They didn't invalidate your army. They invalidated the army you were planning on someday buying.
No. They definitely invalidated my army that I have that's painted and ready to go. No, I'm not talking about the stuff they canceled. That my bad. To be clear, I'm not talking about the.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Like the old army builds are completely useless.
Yeah, it's like my army build is just like not functional now. It's like, oh, cool.
But you think about it, Steve. With Horus Heresy, all of the armies are always going to be there. Like, there's no way you can invalidate a Blood Angels army in Horus Heresy because the Blood Angels are an integral part of the entire narrative.
Right. I mean, Horus Heresy does seem to be easily their most stable option of all their games, other than Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, and Lord of the Rings is just because everyone is sitting there and praying together, creating a tulpa in the form of hopefully Games Workshop never changes this game.
I mean, it's again, I think I've said it a million times. I think I say it every time we bring it up, but the Lord of the Rings is the best Games Workshop game that nobody plays.
Yeah. No, Necromunda is the best Games Workshop game that nobody plays.
Well, I'm sure the two guys who can afford all like $1,000, $1,200 or $1,200 in books to play are having a good time playing Necromunda.
It's not that bad. So I looked into it. So I am doing ClassyCon, right? It's just like a proto convention, and over the summer, and it's just going to be like 6 guys, right? I'm doing a basement con.
Okay.
But I wanted to do something that I can have enough players who know the game, right? And I had to have a game that was cheap enough that everybody could play, and we could do a 1-day tournament.
Okay.
3 games, right? So I looked into it, and I was like, you know what? It was either going to be Warcry or it was going to be Necromunda. And I realized I'm playing with a bunch of old heads, old GW guys. So everybody fucking has a Necromunda gang. Everybody. And so when I was talking with people, they're like, oh yeah, I would love to do Necromunda or Mordheim. I was saying, like, we're doing Necromunda. I'm not digging into Mordheim because the rules are 30 years old at this point. There's no 20 years old, 25 years old at this point. There's no way we're doing Necromunda. So I know doing Mordheim. So we're going to do Necromunda. And I looked into it. The rules aren't as complicated as you think. So you really only need 2 books. You need the main rule book, and then you need your house rule book. Or you could play it with the Gangs of the Underhive book. Either one is fine. The Gangs of the Underhive is kind of generic. The house gangs get a little more in-depth and give you a lot more flavor, which is nice. But everything else is like just adds bounty hunters or narrative play function, terrain rules, stuff like that. It's not absolutely necessary. I know that there are some guys who probably feel it's necessary because they do massive Necromunda campaigns. That's not for like the play like that.
Okay.
Like, and what I did like too is I was digging into the rules. I thought it was all going to be saying, how Necromunda is with like multiple levels of play. It's kind of open. They have that, but they also have kind of flat games like Zona Mortalis games, which are just played with like walls, like you're playing in a maze.
Okay.
Kind of. So it's like it's got 2 really good ways of playing that game inside the main rule book. And I was pleasantly shocked. I was like, this is not an expensive game. I thought it was much more expensive than it actually is.
So it is if you play the campaign where you need everything, but it's not if you just play a tournament.
That's the thing. It helps, but you don't need it. And there's a lot of room for proxy on there too. The gangs are all relatively cheap. They're only $40 a gang, which is nothing. And those sculpts are great.
The sculpts are awesome. The Necromunda models are fucking the very, very hyper dope.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing this summer. It's like I got a bunch of old heads. I'm going to make prizes and stuff like that. I already sent out a tournament pack for them.
Nice.
So it's ClassyCon 1.
ClassyCon 1. Wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this will be fun. I'm going to treat it like an actual campaign. I'm going to treat it like an actual tournament, and we'll do stuff there.
Nice.
Yeah. But so looking into Necromunda, that's why I was like, oh wait, the stat lines are from Necromunda. That's why.
I see.
But yeah, so I mean, also one of the things I also love about Necromunda is there are a lot of companies that do not Necromunda minis, especially 3D printing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like they're like good proxies, like you're like, or I shouldn't say that. It's not like they're scans. They're not even like alike proxies. They're just similar enough where you're like, ooh, a female gang. These would paint up great as Eschers.
Right. Okay.
There's a lot of good sci-fi stuff. Titan Forge does a lot of great sci-fi stuff for that on there. I think there's a guy named Papsicle who does a lot of great stuff.
Well, we know how good Titan Forge is.
Yes, we all know Titan Forge. I should say Cyber Forge, which is their sci-fi range.
Are they the GOAT? I think they're the GOAT.
They're pretty close to being the GOAT of 3D printing. I wouldn't go that far, but it all really depends on, like, I would say best around Titan Forge for sure.
Yeah, Titan Forge is
you get pretty much
real good stuff. I guess if you don't like, they do have kind of like like somewhere in between. I guess I would say their aesthetic is like in the middle of GW and like Warcraft, I think.
Yeah, they have their own unique style, which can sometimes be hindering when you're like, well, I don't want to do or I don't want this because it doesn't match my other figures. However, because of their style and their breadth of figures, it doesn't matter, because if you're just like, well, I'm just going to use Titan Forge figures for everything now, and so everything matches.
Yeah. If you do a Titan Forge army, your stuff looks real nice.
Yes, and it's like, okay, so then you have your Titan Forge army, and then you're like, oh, I want to start a second army so someone else can play. You can use Titan Forge and create whatever army you want.
Also true. They do have a really, really good not Middle Earth Goblin King though. I really like their Goblin King. Goblin down. I really like their goblins. Their goblins are dope.
Oh yeah, everything's great. I wouldn't. Did I tell you I was working with the super tough resin?
No, you did not.
Okay, so I ended up, for the last few months, I've been working with a non-breakable resin. It's still breakable, but it's not like the other stuff where it's like you bend a spear slightly, or
it's not like you could crush it into dust with your hand.
Yeah, well, like when you have a goblin spearman and they fall off the table and shatter into a million pieces.
Of course,
I've been using a tough resin, and the actual breakability is noticeably different.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I was actually holding one by a tip of like a spear in the base as I was painting it, and my fingers kind of like slipped, and I could feel the spear bend under my fingers, and I was like, in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually just bent and went back into place, and I went, Gah?
Oh,
I'm making
that would have absolutely under the normal rules of 3D printing, that would have absolutely snapped.
It would have snapped like a woman who found out her man was cheating on her.
It's true.
Yeah,
she comes home, guns down him and Jolene.
Yeah, actually, she would have just put glass in his oatmeal or grits.
Grits.
That's one good thing I'm excited about with all these draconian laws that conservatives are trying to pass on families. It's just going to lead to a lot more conservative men dying by their wives killing them.
We're bring back the golden age of arsenic poisoning.
The golden age of spousal poisoning.
Yes. Also, I think they have Titan Forge has one of my favorite miniatures, which is a big troll woman with massive gajungas with a little troll baby sucking on one of them udders.
There you go. That's what you know what? To each their own. I won't yuck your yum on that one. Sometimes a guy just wants to see some troll titties.
Please respect my prose when I. Yeah, they got some good, and it's some really, really good beastmen. I think they have the best minotaurs. They have good minotaurs for sure. I don't know if they're the best. Steve,
I have learned this over my years, is that minotaurs are a personal taste. People like very specific things about minotaurs, and I think a lot of it has to do with their sexual fetishes, and I'm okay with that, but that just makes me understand that everybody's got their own minotaur preference.
I just want them to look cool, man.
You know what though? It's like some of them are like, I want like really buff fucking minotaurs, like beefy men minotaurs, and other people are like, no, I need them to be very feral looking. I need that. I don't want them to be I want them to look more realistically proportioned. I'm like, this is just every man is just describing what gay porn they like when it comes to minotaurs.
Yeah, I just want them to look cool.
See, there you go. You want them to have mustaches and a bathrobe.
Oh man, that would be awesome with pipes.
Yeah. You want Hugh Hefner minotaurs.
The one thing I don't like is I do not like. Generally, I find most minotaurs look pretty cool. Most minotaur minis look pretty cool to me personally. But I really, really dislike the ones that look like the Tauren from World of Warcraft.
And some people really want that, and that's what I'm saying. It's like everything comes down to a personal sexual preference.
Mm-hmm.
And funny thing enough, I was thinking about this. It was a couple weeks ago. You know how I say minotaur on the podcast? I minotaur. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's a podcast. It's like a gaming thing. I talk about people when I say minotaurs. Mm-hmm. And it actually came up in conversation where I was at work and they were talking about like the mythological minotaur. and I was saying Minotaurs, and they were like, "Why do you say it like that?" I'm like,
Minotaur.
Minotaur. I'm like, yeah, I gotta remember to keep the lives separated. I gotta keep those walls up, Steve. Gotta keep the walls up.
We need the clear division.
Yes, and I can't talk about people's sexual preferences for Minotaurs.
Yes,
conversation.
It is not polite conversation. That's true.
Yeah, I do find it funny that GW kind of sped through these last two releases for the old world. I'm wondering if they did that to free up time for the Horus Heresy releases.
Oh, guaranteed, 100%. Yeah, 100%. That's what they did. They wanted to just get it out so they didn't have any competing releases because I mean, you can just look at the Warhammer community page.
Yeah,
I think the entire front page, every single article is just for Saturnalia.
Yeah.
It's
Saturn.
Yeah, my bad. Saturnalia is the fucking pagan holiday. My bad.
Yeah, there was God, it's kind of crazy. But actually, Games Workshop, there was already a guy who released a proxy of the Saturnine Dreadnought. Like within, a couple weeks of the picture on there, he released a full 28 millimeter scale resin model for that Saturnine Dreadnought, and it was pretty good. It was immediately taken down, but yeah,
that's funny.
I actually closed up my Cults 3D store that had a couple files on it for Games Workshop because I was just Games Workshop's getting stupid with their suing, so I'm out.
Yeah, they definitely are fucking suing the shit out of people, so it makes sense. Makes sense to be a little cautious.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with any of that. I'm just like, you know what? So long and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I don't think I was. Well, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so long. Thanks for all the fish.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah. In other news. Sorry for the hard transition there, people. The Wizards of the Coast. Have you seen all of the stuff about Dungeons and Dragons with Baldur's Gate 3? Like, what do now? Kind of articles.
No.
This is the last week or two. There's been a lot of articles about like how Wizards of the Coast can't capitalize on how much money Baldur's Gate made.
Oh yeah, no, that I understand. Yeah, they don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with Baldur's Gate. Like, do we make another D&D game? Do we make it another exact copy of Baldur's Gate? It's been pretty interesting. It's been making me laugh because you would think that most of the news would be about Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop game from Wizards of the Coast, but nope, it's all about the video games.
Yep.
I would not be surprised if that becomes Wizards of the Coast's primary model with Lord of the Rings. Is just go straight video games. It makes more money.
I mean, look, Sigil could have been a good thing, but like reading more and more about Sigil is like, I'm not gonna say it's depressing because it's not. That's not exactly what. It's not exactly what it is.
Continue your thought.
It's just like the out of touch level is unbelievable.
Doesn't it feel like Tech Bro? Like,
it was 100% Tech Bro.
Yeah, it feels like a Tech Bro was just like if as long as we do these buzzwords, we'll be raking in the dough.
Every single thing I read about the development of that, every single thing, was just like the project lead was just saying buzzwords and never actually doing a thing or like telling people, like giving people directives. Like he was like, yeah, and when the monetization, like he's telling the team working on this, and when the monetization comes down, we're gonna really see, some growth in the sector. Like he'll say something like that. Yeah. He's telling the people who would be responsible for the monetization when the monetization comes down. So like, what the fuck are you doing? You're telling, like, you need to tell those people to make the monetization because they're the people making your game, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what it was. It was like, and every single thing I've read about it is like, it was like, it wasn't even designed by committee. It was just like thrown to the side. They got no real directives. they made what they could, trying to interpret the fucking runes that they were given as directives, and you got Sigil. And my review of Sigil, I still stand by it. I think it looked very nice, had no direction, was hostile to use, and was not long for this world. Little did I know how right I was.
Yeah, I think that's kind of part of the whole debacle is that they just didn't. I don't even know how to describe it. They had no concept of what they wanted to do and how to make money off of it.
Yeah, I can tell you how to make money off of both Baldur's Gate 3 and on D&D, and it's not hard. It's really easy. I can show you. I can give you a monetization path. I can show you every single thing about it. And it would be, it's a no-brainer. And the reason that no corpo stooge will ever think of it is because they're not a gamer. They've never touched a game. They don't know how games work. So they would never think of how to do this extremely simple answer, because they'd never think of it. But there isn't, like, did you ever play Neverwinter Nights?
Yeah, I know it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I never played a ton of D&D video games. I used to play the ones on old PC, like Windows 3.5.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So like Gold Box and that kind of stuff, and like maybe like Planescape Torment.
Yeah.
Anyone who's if you've never played Planescape Torment, you should play Planescape Torment. It's still the best Dungeons and Dragons game yet made. It's really, really fucking good.
I played a ton of those ones that you got in the box that you would come with the floppy disk, an actual floppy disk.
Yeah.
So not that old. They were old 3.5s. I didn't actually play D&D on the old big floppies.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. Because I played a couple of those.
I played with big floppies, Steve.
I had the Al-Qadim one that was like a Zelda game. Nights, like Arabian days. Mark it off.
Was that on the Discord where they're
it was on the Discord.
You would drink every time they bring up Arabian Nights, and you're like, you'll be drinking at least one time per podcast.
Yep, at least once per cast. But yeah, there was the PC game. I think it was the Genie's Curse. But it's literally Zelda, but it's in Al-Qadim.
You never got a friend like me.
Yeah, it is the Genie's Curse. Yeah. So it plays like Zelda, but it is a D&D game. It's Al-Qadim, the Genie's Curse. Recommended. It's very fun. But anyway, aside from that, so
Alibaba had his 40 thieves.
Tears out of 1,000 tales. I used to know the full, because I did that song once. Hang on, what is it? It's hang on. Let me try and really bring this back. Hang on.
Come on.
All right. Alibaba had them 40 thieves, Sherazade had 1,000 tales. But master, you're in luck, because up your sleeve you got a brand of magic never fails. You got some power in your corner now, some heavy ammunition in your camp. You got some punch, pizzazz, yahoo, and hows. All you got to do is rub that lamp, and I'll say, Mr. Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be? 2 or 3. Let me take your order, jot it down. You ain't never had a friend like me. Life is your restaurant, and I'm your maitre d'. Come on, whisper what it is you want. You ain't never had a friend like me. That's it. I don't remember anything else.
Oh, Alan,
Tim Rice,
classic Star Wars player,
Alan
Robin
Menken?
Williams. God damn it, classic Warhammer player, Robin Williams.
Very good. I thought you were going to say Alan Menken.
My brain just like completely farted. It was like if you could hear the inside of my brain, it was literally.
I don't know if Alan Menken played Warhammer. I don't think.
No,
he did.
Probably not. I would guarantee it.
If he did, he would have played Dark Eldar.
What?
So,
3rd edition Dark Eldar with the big pointy hats.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, in Neverwinter Nights, there was a creation mode where you could literally make a campaign. You could set up your own traps. You could set up your own NPCs, your own dialogue, everything. And I did play in an actual Neverwinter Nights multiplayer campaign where.
Neverwinter Night.
Yes.
Neverwinter Day.
Yeah, and like we actually played Neverwinter Nights multiplayer like for our D&D for a while. It was very cool. So all you need to do that to bring that back is literally you make a game that uses fucking the current edition of Dungeons and Dragons rule set. You buy the base game, you make it whatever that price is. That gives you the base fucking rules, the base classes, all of that stuff here on your hand. And then when you want to add stuff, like hey, you want to use stuff from I don't know Tasha's Cauldron, you must buy the Tasha's Cauldron pack. And then you get the Tasha's Cauldron classes, you get the Tasha's Cauldron feats, treasure items, etc., so on and so forth. Like it's right there, and that right there will get people playing D&D on the computer, giving you money every month, which is what they want. Like it's right, it's literally right there, and like you could just take that, you can monetize that in the simplest way fucking possible. You could sell, and what you do is you make it sandbox. So when it's launched, there's no like pre-made content. The pre-made you give it it's a tool for DMs to use to make their own campaigns, right? And then you make it user friendly but not impossible, and then you also can then sell your own fucking campaigns, which is literally you just pay some fucking nerd to make campaigns, and you can make them exclusive to your digital platform. So you can have like I don't know when they did what was that the Frost Mariner. I can't remember what the name of it was. They did the cold themed 5th edition campaign. It was a Neverwinter one.
Blah, 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 blah. Not Rime of the Frost Giant.
No.
That's the only one I can think of.
Fuck, what was it called? I can't remember. But anyway, so we'll just say the Neverwinter campaign. But it was a campaign. It was a campaign book, and like it had its own Ice Queen. Was it Ice Queen? Fuck yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what it is. Shit, it's crazy. But anyway, so you release your own like Rime of the Ancient Ice Queen, and that's only available as a campaign supplement on your digital platform.
Storm King's Thunder, is that it?
We'll count that. Yeah. I'll just say Storm King's Thunder.
Icewind Dale. No, we'll just say Storm King's Thunder. That works because that's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So Storm King's Thunder is a 5th edition. Sorry, I had to get up and look at all my D&D books.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, so Storm King's Thunder is a 5th edition adventure. There's that book is just an adventure book. So it's for characters levels 1 to 10, and it's got like a bunch of NPCs. Blah, 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 blah. So what you do is you have a supplement like that's only on your digital version of your game, and there you go. It's all there done for you, and there's no printing costs because you're having someone use your engine that already exists. The file is proprietary. You buy it as an adventure pack into the game, and then you price that as whatever you want to price it as. I don't know, $35, $40, and then you have a pre-made game that like everyone can play. And then also the biggest thing is the game. You actually put the engine of the game into the fucking game. Because I think I told you like one of the stupidest things on Sigil was you could move the models literally anywhere.
Yeah, you needed to have restrictions placed based upon the rules of the game.
Yes, there was no like they had you could execute the game functions, but it wasn't automated in any way.
And that's the most important part, is because you need to put that on there so people will remember.
Right.
And that's that's a huge chunk of the issue with Sigil as a whole. It was a basic platform. It didn't have any of the. You should have had the rules as the default, and then you could turn those off if you wanted to have more creativity in what you're doing.
Yeah. It was an actual sandbox, which is not what you want.
No. You know how how I would capitalize on Baldur's Gate 3, Steve? You want to know how I want to do that? Put out a supplement that's called Baldur's Gate for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Just a book called Baldur's Gate. It all takes place in Baldur's Gate, and it is literally just an adventure in Baldur's Gate.
You
put in the gift rules, you put in all the nonsense that you have in the video game.
You could literally release the book supplement that's just called Baldur's Gate 3. And
I wouldn't put the supplement as Baldur's Gate 3 because people might look for Baldur's Gate 2 or 1.
Well, that's the thing. You can do those as well.
Well, so you can.
You can literally just release this because those games are complete D&D campaigns. All three of those games are complete D&D campaigns with a story and everything. So you can literally just make a tabletop conversion of Baldur's Gate 2, and Baldur's Gate 3, and you release those. Pretty easy way to monetize that, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Guess what? You'd make a fuck ton of money.
Yep. Congratulations. You found this impossible thing that you couldn't wrap your head around monetizing. You just turned it into a book. Done. Congratulations, it's monetized.
I have been one of the things that I've noticed since going through a lot of these RPG books that I've been doing is just how fucking bad the binding and product is that Wizards of the Coast puts out for their games.
You know what? I have noticed that it's very inconsistent.
There's a little bit of inconsistency.
Because I've had quite a few Wizard supplements that I thought was high quality, and then others that were like, Wizards made this.
I will just say that the books themselves are so lackluster for the price of when you look at what other companies are doing, like third-party companies are doing with the D&D OGL, and you're just like, fuck, these books are so much nicer, and they cost exactly the same as a actual Dungeons and Dragons book.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that annoys me because, like, I get you want to save money as the parent company. As a company, you're like, well, if we cut this, we just put this out there and we make money off of it, we get profit. It's great, yay! But I mean, where's your pride as a company? You are Dungeons and Dragons. You should be putting out the best material you can out there. Like,
yeah, no, I can see it.
Like, if you want people, I don't know, they probably don't want people buying books, in all honesty. They probably want people just buying the digital product because that's just pure profit. But, when you're putting that out, you'd want some pride in what you're doing. You think that you'd want people to walk down the store and be like, ooh, new Dungeons and Dragons book. And they're like, oh, this is so pretty. I want to own this. Right? But they're all kind of generic feeling. They all kind of just have a very mediocre vibe, very mid vibe to them.
I can see it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I do hope that the new starter really takes off. I think the new starter, like, from what I have heard about the new starter, I think that's going to be a really interesting and cool design. So I hope that because if I'm right, I was reading stuff, it's going to be like they want to capture board gamers.
Ooh.
And that's like one of the things they want. And so what they're doing is they're doing a lot more about, like, they're bringing back to stuff like building your own kind of kingdom and like getting a manse and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of that's my fucking jam. Like, that's what I loved about D&D. Like, that was for me, that was my D&D jam. That's what I liked.
You know what I want? I want something in between that and Murder Hobo. I want just a group of merry adventurers on their way, doing good, killing the evil, beating the big bad end guy. That's what I want. I want a rollicking adventure.
I really hate to tell you, because you know what you want. You know what you just described?
What?
Palladium fantasy.
Yeah, I know.
You literally just like that is
Palladium fantasy, but I know
it's straight up is Palladium fantasy. That's like exactly that level.
Holy shit. I was on Facebook Marketplace the other day, and there was a guy selling a lot of Rift books.
Yeah, you said that to me. It was awesome.
Did I send you that one?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I was like, God damn, there were so many of them. They were in terrible condition, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're Rift books, so they were
Rift books.
Yeah.
Kevin Ciambetti fucking jizzed on all of them.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. All of it. It's true.
All of it. It's all of it. It's true.
Somehow Kevin Ciambetti has returned.
It's true, kid.
It's always my favorite part whenever someone posts something about Andor on the Discord, when you go, in the end, all of this leads up to somehow Palpatine has returned.
That's right. Somehow Palpatine's returned with a fleet of Star Destroyers with Death Star lasers.
Who was it? Elijah Wood commented on some Star Wars fact page where they were like, did you know that the fleet on Exegol was created by a bunch of Sith worshippers and blah blah blah? And Elijah Wood goes, no, how could we have known?
That's great.
Fucking Elijah Wood of all people on that one.
I love Elijah Wood. I love that he turned his Lord of the Rings money into just producing indie horror films. What a dope guy.
And they're so good. They
are really good. Every Elijah Wood produced horror thing I've seen has been excellent.
You know what the new hotness is with the horror? The combo of Talk to Me and Bring Her Back.
Oh, okay.
I've heard at least 3 separate people talk about how great those movies are.
I didn't think it was great, but I did like Talk to Me.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for Gen Z horror.
It's
I'm still not over my millennial horror, which is all about trauma. Are you traumatized? Well,
Not
here's some horror for you. Yeah, as opposed to boomer horror, which was all or I should say Gen X horror.
I gotta go. I'll be right back. I gotta go a second.
All right.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Go.
Hello, I am back. Sorry.
Oh wow, it scared the shit out of me.
Sorry, my body went from happening soon to happening immediately, so I had to go.
Well, hey, it's fine by me. No, I just wanted to. I was saying boomer horror, which is all just if you have sex, you die. So
that's true. Yeah, it's like, oh, they had sex, they're dead.
They need to be punished for touching their bodies.
That's true.
For enjoying themselves. No, I don't really have that much more left. There were a couple things I did see that there was one release, a small release that's really actually kind of funny. Do you know what Baron's War is?
Baron's War? No, I do not.
It's a minis game. It's medieval combat style minis game. It's very small, nothing too crazy. But what just made me laugh about it was the fact that they were at a convention. They've done so well that it's War Games Atlantic, right?
Oh, I love War Games Atlantic.
Yeah. But their release was so successful that they had to stop taking orders because they couldn't fill anymore.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a medieval skirmish game. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at the box set now. What a cool box set.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty neat. It's all Crusade stuff. That I think that they said that there's something about Robin Hood. They have like a Robin Hood campaign. But I was like, oh, that's neat. Whatever. It's a neat little. It looks like it's kind of taking on a little bit of what Saga did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Saga was and is pretty popular of a small scale skirmish game.
These terrain sprues kick ass.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, ain't they? I think that's why a lot of people really dig that box set.
Yeah, the figures are cool. They look, they look like Teutonic knights.
Yeah, they're not anything I'm gonna write home about.
Yeah, I would say they get the job done.
Yeah, I'm not going to tribute any of them. Go back to Ewan McGregor. I'm not going to put Ewan McGregor's face on them and tribute.
These little plastic terrain wall things, they are fucking dope as shit.
Yeah, and you know what they did, Steve? They followed my number one rule of promoting your game, which is get professional fucking painters.
Mm-hmm.
Because
the paint jobs look great.
The paint jobs look great, and they're very simplistic, which goes to show you they hired somebody professional to do this.
They hired someone who paints wargaming miniatures.
Yes. They knows how to paint them well, because there's nothing on them that's unusual. It's all just dry brush and little base highlights and stuff like that, and really well inked. But it's just done in a very clean manner that everybody likes. Yeah,
they've done that. I mean, it looks like a well painted tabletop army, which that's a great standard to have.
Yeah, it makes me like, what's going on with this? But I have too many games right now. I'm not getting in anything else. But it is interesting. I did want to talk about another game too. Well, two things with Chaosium. So one, they have a new CEO. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
I don't know too much about it. I saw the headline a while back, or not a while back, but a day or two ago. And they also released that Age of Vikings game, which is getting a lot of buzz. So it is a role-playing game that takes place in Viking mythology, a lot of Viking life on there. So it seems pretty interesting. A lot of stuff with the sagas. So I don't know if it's actually people wanting to play Vikings or just chuds. Because it could go either way when it comes to Vikings.
It's true. Yeah, you always got to side eye someone who's really interested in Vikings.
Exactly. I did know someone personally who walked in wearing a Viking Rune t-shirt, and I'm like, he shouldn't be wearing that. Spaghettios.
Yes, I mean tangential, obviously, but the one person in my life I know who was the most into Vikings ended up being the most racist man alive. So
yeah. Actually, I pulled up Age of Vikings right now on drive-through RPG, and I'm looking at just like the ratings right now because it's actually a pretty decent place to look at ratings for tabletop games. And the top one says just 15 pages in, and I'm encountering multiple errors on page 9. Example of play. Some of the players' role examples are wrong. And I'm just like, and I'm like,
now we're talking.
Every RPG book on this planet probably contains so many fucking errors. Like no one reads these rules.
Yeah, generally. I mean, I can't. I'll let you know when I finish my translations of Sword World.
Yeah,
I've been working on that.
No one actually reads the rules to rule books. It just doesn't, because too many people I talk to have said the words, it says that? What?
It's because one person reads the rules, they run the game, and then however they run the game becomes the rules.
Hey, there you go.
That's why. That's why anytime you have a player who doesn't know what a rule is, it's because they never read the rule book because they played in a game where the DM read the rules and the DM taught them how to play, and the DM might have taught them wrong.
I'm going to call that the Monopoly paradox.
It really is. That always bugged me as a kid because I would try to play Monopoly with people and they would never play by the rules and I would always get mad.
No, you if you land on free parking, you get $200. No, you don't.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean you put the money from the income tax in the center of the board? None of these are rules. Wait, you landed on that space. You have to buy it or auction it. And then every single time, I would say you have to auction that. They would go, auction? Like every time.
Like eBay?
Yeah, I'm like, that's the most basic fucking rule of the goddamn game. No wonder you people all think Monopoly takes 8 hours to play. Monopoly is a very fast game. Like, it is not a slow game.
Yeah, and I also wanted to point out a game that is currently flooding every half-price books in this area when I go out there. It's the Zweihander game. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I know Zweihander.
Yeah, every half-price books out here has multiple copies of all of the new edition, like tons of copies. Like, why did they have this many copies of Zweihander out there?
They run. Hang on. I'll tell you why.
Why?
I'll tell you exactly why.
Why?
Reforged edition. Just funded.
Okay. But I think the books that are out are I don't know.
No. They're not. They're 100%. The Reforged edition is brand new. Like it is. It literally just finished funding in May. So there you go. So you are seeing current edition players dumping their books in advance of the new edition coming.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's that. This looks like it's some company has dumped them. Like they had a warehouse full and they're just dump it out to half price books and
yeah, that's possible.
That's what happens with Dungeons and Dragons, is that if you wait long enough and the warehouses dump their inventory of D&D books, you can get them fairly cheap at half price books, but you just got to wait like 2 to 3 years after release of the book. So right now, I think that the release cycle that they have is right after Tyranny of Dragons. So you could always find people who dump their books before that happens, but usually once the warehouses dump their inventory and their stock, then you're able to get it cheap, like multiple copies of stuff.
Okay, yeah. If you never heard of Zweihander, dear listener, Zweihander, it is. I would say it is the Pathfinder to Warhammer Fantasy role playing.
Ooh,
it's a percentage based system. It's
the percentage based version.
Yep, it's percentage based. It's grim. It has
grim dark.
It is not. Well, yeah, I guess I would say it's grim dark. But it's a good game. It's fun. I've played it. I mean, it does have a little bit of a counter to one of the issues of percentages. Because the primary attribute is a percentage, but then there's it's not called derived, and maybe it is called derived attribute, but then there's a derived attribute as well, and it does the same thing that Warhammer Fantasy does, where like your first percentile number is your derived attribute. So if you have 48%, your derived is a 4. But one of the things that I always thought was annoying about Warhammer Fantasy is that your skill the derived attribute changing one point is huge, because it means you've gone from 40% to 50%. But advancing in Warhammer Fantasy is incremental. So you're going like you're at 30%, then you're at 35%, then you're at 40%. So that those middle increments, they make you better at the test, but not better at the it just seemed uneven. And what Zweihander has is they have like a bonus system. I assume this will all be in the Reforged. I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's in Reforged if they changed it, but this is the older Zweihander rule set. But they have a derived bonus, and they have a thing where you could take a kind of like not like a feat, but you can like put like a perk onto a stat, and that gives you +1 to the derived. So if you have a 40, which would normally give you a derived of 4, but you put 3 of your points into the buff, your derived will be a 7, which is really cool because that gives you because it basically, I think like the in-game logic to that is that you're a dude, like you might not actually be that physically strong, but your aim is so good with your sword, it doesn't matter that you're not that strong because you always hit people in like the fucking throat, that kind of thing.
Throat punch.
Yeah, you do the Neo throat punch where it just goes on a loop and you keep doing the throat chop.
You know what? The more I'm looking at, because I didn't know anything about this game, and now that you're telling me, it's like I absolutely love the fact that they're like, we're gonna make a copy of Warhammer and call it Zweihander.
Yes.
And I also love on our drive-through RPG, the top review of it is from Cassie, who said, Zweihander Reforged is a compelling game that inspires creativity, whether it be as the game master or player. 5 stars. It's like,
finally,
is it even out yet? How are you making this? Why do you put such a generic comment on there? This has to be a bot.
Maybe, or there maybe the PDF might be out. I don't know.
Man, dead internet theory, man. Actually, I think the PDF is out.
Yeah,
because I'm looking at the drive-through RPG page, and it says PDF $29.99.
Yeah, and if in case there's any question of whether or not it was the Pathfinder to Warhammer Fantasy, there are 151 professions in the Zweihander Reforged.
I like the profession system better than I like class system.
I also like the profession system. My issue with the profession system was always advancement. I thought the advancement was always kind of fucked up and weird.
Well, you know what? Here's the funny thing, though, is with advancement in that system is like you really shouldn't advance. Like your character should die probably like once every 6 sessions so you can make it just a different character.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, but they also have 14 ancestries in Zweihander. So you could be human, Dhampir, elf, Furbolg, gargoyle, woodrose. Woodwoes. Sorry, not woodrose.
Woodwoes.
Yes. I just like the idea that I could be Vastampir.
Vastampir.
Nosferatu. That's Vampire. The vampire.
It is a German game, if I'm not mistaken.
It probably is. And actually, I'm going to give a book recommendation too, somewhat similar into the feel of, or what I think is the feel of this game, is there's a book right now by one of my favorite authors, Joe Abercrombie, who did the Last Argument of Kings and a ton of great, like, strange fantasy world building books, like stuff I've never read anything like before. He's done a new book called The Devils, and James Cameron actually just picked it up to make it into a movie or a show or whatever. And it's basically a D&D party playing. It's basically an RPG of Warhammer fantasy role playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it takes place in a medieval Europe that's heavily religious, but there's elves and werewolves and vampires and wizards, and basically this group of X-Men that you have to go escort this princess to the Ottoman Empire, or not the Ottoman Empire, to the Eastern Orthodox Empire.
Nice.
So I highly recommend. I haven't finished it. I'm only about halfway through, but I highly recommend it so far. It might fail the landing, but Joe Abercrombie really doesn't usually fumble endings. So it really does seem very generic, though. It doesn't feel like there's not a lot of plot to get in the way of that book so far. It's just like, holy fuck, I'm going to throw a vampire and an elf together and they're going to fucking fight beastmen.
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty good on that. But it reminds me a lot of the feel of this Zweihander. I might go pick it up now, based upon our conversation today.
Yeah, I mean, I give it a shot. I think it's a really good game. I think you'll have fun if you run it.
I do have to say, though, the fact that the PDF is 571 pages really does kind of upset me.
I mean, it's a monster book.
It's a tome. So do we have any other gaming news that we want to talk about?
I don't think so.
No, Lord of the Rings, not Lord of the Rings. They did the Final Fantasy release for the Magic, and it's huge.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean, if you want to talk, I mean, if we're talking general gaming news,
general gaming
news. The Final Fantasy release for Magic is the biggest thing that's ever happened to gaming.
Did we talk about that before? I don't remember if we talked about that before. I was literally talking about it yesterday. So
yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it on the cast. I probably at least said it as a blurb. But yeah, no, it is and when I say it's the biggest thing, it is the biggest thing in tabletop gaming in history. Like, and it's not close. It is unbelievable.
That doesn't surprise me though.
Wizards put out all the stops. The design is perfect. Every aspect, like everything they did was like perfectly crafted to hit the flavor, the vibe, like and like then that thing, if you like even if you only like one Final Fantasy game, like if you only like a single one of them, there is content in this Magic set for you.
Ooh.
Like it doesn't matter. You could only like a single one of them, and there's shit in the set that you would really like. Like if you're a Final Fantasy 6 stan, like you only like 6, like Kefka's your guy. There's so many specifically 6 cards. The art by there's new art by Amano for this, like specifically done for this game. It's unbelievable. Like it is just fucking unbelievable. Like the variant cards are incredible. The full art cards are amazing. The game feel is 100% spot on. Like, and they even went so far as to make game mechanics in Magic reflect what was introduced novel or new or interesting about the specific Final Fantasy game. So for example, the sub mechanic for Final Fantasy 7 is Limit Break, because that's where Limit Break was introduced. That was the first Final Fantasy game that had that. And what Limit Break is if your creature has a power of 7 or greater, they hit Limit Break. So Cloud, for example, he starts with power 4, and then Cloud's Buster Sword gives him +3/+0, putting him at Limit Break. So if you put Cloud's Buster Sword on Cloud, Cloud then gets access to his Limit Break ability.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm too old at this point, and it just makes me smile and go, I remember Limit Break.
Yeah, it's just the cards are incredible. The chase cards are brilliant. They did so what they did, instead of having one specific chase card, I mean there is a specific chase card from this set, but the chase cards are traveling chocobos. So there's a green, a blue, a pink, a yellow, a black, and then a gold. And those are the chase cards. The black one is already going for $10,000.
Jesus Christ. What's wrong with people?
And then there hasn't been one found yet. But the serialized one, which means there's only X number of made. There's 77 of the golden traveling chocobo being made. Okay. The current bid for this is the current I will buy this if you find it offer. I don't know what the hell that's called, like advance bid.
I know what you're saying. It's
for the 77 out of 77. They actually don't want the first one. They do not want 1 out of 77. They want 77 out of 77.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it's Final Fantasy 7. So so that's the one that collectors have decided is the highest value, is 77 out of 77.
I mean, it makes sense, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and the current is $150,000.
Wow!
If you pull that card, you got someone right now who will buy it from you for $150,000.
You know what? Good on them. You got the money to blow on that. Good for you.
Yep, it's crazy. And then of course, like every single person is talking about, every single person seeing it. And then actually, also speaking of tabletop gaming news. Do you know if Polar Bear is all right? The dude, that's the dude who runs tabletop gaming news.
Yeah, the guy runs it. No, I haven't heard anything about his about what he's doing so far. He's been out for a couple months now.
Yeah, I mean, there's been no update.
Well,
there's been no update since March. I've been looking. I tried to find it. He hasn't been posting on Blue Sky. I haven't seen, but also I've not seen any news. So I don't know if you're, hey, bro, if you're out there, if you still listen, say hi.
Yeah, let us know you're okay. Maybe someday I'll go through like what my news sources are for a lot of stuff. I used to use Tabletop Gaming News quite a bit, but he's kind of been on and off lately. And there's a couple other one that I actually like, and I'll tell you about it right now, is Rascal News, rascal.news. They're kind of they're a little more independent, and I feel like they're very heavily editorialized.
Okay.
But I like what they have to say. They're actually kind of a fun read. And that's actually where I saw the thing about the Barons War that actually popped up on my feed the other day. And that's why I wanted to bring it up. So they're really good with that. And they also had a really good article the other day about, let me see if I could find it. I kind of wanted to talk about it, but I'm like, I'm kind of tired of talking about politics. But they're talking about how a game company is now, that are starting to, those game companies that kind of got, I don't want to say Me Too'd, but they got shunned. Like they got canceled. That's what I'm looking for. They got canceled because they're kind of they got a little bit of a right-wing bent to them. Not terrible, but just enough where it's like, or at least maybe the creator got busted for saying something stupid on the Facebooks.
Okay.
And, yeah. Here it is. Goodman Games wants to build bridges instead of walls, but at what cost? So there was basically, they used to work with Judges Guild, with a third-party design company called Judges Guild. Judges Guild's owner put out a bunch of racist, bigoted shit on Twitter, or X as it is called. But X is going to be woke again, so it's going to be okay.
Yeah, someone said we're gonna see Elon rubber band to an all new level of woke never before seen in the world.
Probably. I mean, I'm kind of like, what the fuck world are we living in right now?
A really fucking stupid one.
I mean, seriously, we live in the stupidest world.
That's it. Like, people say this is the worst timeline. They're wrong. It is absolutely not the worst timeline. This is not the worst timeline. That's not what we live in at all. We live in the fucking dumbest timeline. We do live in the dumbest timeline. We live in the fucking dumbest timeline. That's why, that's the thing. Like, my fatigue with politics has little to do with like evil and things like that. My fatigue is everyone is so fucking stupid. Like, why can't I have a villain who's intelligent? Why do I have to have a villain who's the dumbest motherfucker on the planet?
Like, it's incompetence that just drives me nuts. It's like literally just levels upon levels of incompetence.
That's why competence porn is growing in popularity. I'm telling you.
I've always been a big fan of competence porn. I say that The Hunt for Red October is one of the greatest movies ever if you want to see competent people doing their job.
Yeah, no,
like on every level, like the good guys, the bad guys. It's not like the thing with The Hunt for Red October. It's not like no one is a villain in that movie. Like, there are definitely protagonists in that movie, and there is an antagonist, but it's just about a bunch of people trying to solve a problem, and it works really well.
Right. Also, I mean, it's war. Like, very rarely are the people who fight war villains or heroes.
Well, it's not even war. It's about a Soviet commander defecting to the U.S., and it's about the U.S. trying to intercept him and get his submarine, because that's what they really want with it. And then it's about a Soviet commander trying to hunt down that guy.
Yeah. So it's not an active war film, but it's like it is war. You know what I mean? Like,
war. What's it for?
There's absolutely nothing.
Hey,
I'm here it again.
Ooh.
Great opening. That's still one of the best opening sequences in cinema, where they're all speaking Russian and it just shifts over to English.
On the word Armageddon.
Yep, great.
My buddy Kevin hates that so much, and I love it.
Why? It's such a good touch.
No, it's not good. It's not like really well done filmmaking, but it is so like,
I love it.
It's like it's vibes. That's what
I love it. Yeah, it's vibes. When I'm watching a movie, I don't know. I think vibes are incredibly important for film.
They are, but I think it has to do with there's filmmaking language and everything like that. And I agree. It's really cheesy and it's really dumb.
Oh, it's super fucking cheesy. It's beyond cheese.
That's the vibes. It's like you have to understand The Hunt for Red October is definitely covered in a layer of cheese.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
But there's other, there's other good competency porn movies. The other one that I really like too is Moneyball.
I have not seen Moneyball, but I've heard it's excellent.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where it's like, I'm not watching a baseball movie. It's like, it's not about baseball.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with baseball.
It's about people who are really good at their jobs doing their jobs. What's the other one that I really like that's like that? Well, All the President's Men, it's a little bit older. It's, not quite as good. I think that the pinnacle of competency porn for like a ton of viewing is The West Wing. The West Wing, especially the early few seasons, is all about how do people who are really good at their jobs do their jobs. So if you want that, the first like the first 3 seasons of West Wing are seriously about like, oh, this is how governments should work. A lot of people give it shit because it's a very rosy way of looking at politics, but it's still like, this is how you want politics to work.
There's some good sequences in it's, I wouldn't say it's a competency porn film, but in the opening sequence of Drive, that the opening like heist thing where you see like how meticulous his planning is and like how he's set up everything like to the minute of his getaway drive. I think that's really cool.
I think my problem with Drive is they don't go into how much Ryan Gosling loves trains.
They do not.
Yeah, they really should talk about how much he loves trains.
They should. No, 100%. You're correct.
How much he likes watching videos of trains going by at intersections.
Actually, that would have been. You know what? I'm gonna make the Drive train edit where it's just there's gonna be scenes where I'm just gonna cut to Ryan Gosling just like watching train videos on his phone. And if they're never gonna say anything about it, it's never gonna be brought up as a plot point, but it'll be there.
Yeah, it's like. I'm not going to get too deep into it because it get me in trouble. Oh, Ryan, he's a real human being.
He's a real human being.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about? No, I'll get back to my thought about what what I was talking about is that Judges Guild, the guy was kind of is a right wing asshole.
Oh yeah, sure.
And now Goodman Games is kind of stepping back onto it, and saying, "Well, I'd rather build bridges than walls." And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. There's probably someone. There's probably
you want to build bridges with racists?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that really who you want to build the bridge with? I mean, you're more than welcome to do that. Just I'm not sure that's the stance you'd really want to take. But hey, you do you, buddy.
Yeah, but so I don't know. Maybe it's just a sign of the times.
I think it's a sign of people want money.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like let's not mince words. This is all about money, and it's always going to be about money, and people are going to make the move that's going to make them money. Like that's it. So if they think getting buddy with racists will make them more money than not making buddy with racists, they're going to make buddy with racists. That's the world we live in.
That's the world we live in. All right, that's about it. Unless you had other tabletop gaming news.
No, I think that's it. That's it for me. Yeah, I mean, the Magic set's dope. I highly recommend if you've got some extra scratch and you're a Final Fantasy fan, go and get yourself a really expensive collector pack and see what cool shit you rip out of there.
For sure.
Hey, if you pull the Golden Chocobo, you've got a $150,000 lotto ticket.
If I was gonna get any Magic set, I probably would have gotten the Lord of the Rings one. That's what I probably would have done.
You can still buy the Lord of the Rings set; it's still available. It's great. I love the Lord of the Rings set. And I will say one thing about the Lord of the Rings set: if you were so inclined, you could very easily make a very excellent, complete boxed game out of just the Lord of the Rings cards.
Yeah. Did you order those Lord of the Rings cards for the? What game was that one? The
Decipher Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah.
So I my brain started to like cook on that, and I kind of like I kind of really want to, but I don't know. I was like because I know I have a problem, and if I got into it, I would want it all, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like, how would I need to, if I can come up with a viable way to get all of the cards, I will do so. However, I have one caveat for myself is I only want, because there's basically, they call it, what the fuck they call it? Beyond the Shadow? I don't know. So, because that game was great, and it was a very successful game. The Lord of the Rings card game is very successful, very fun game to play, really good. I love it. It's one of the best card games ever made. But they had one moment which was very odd for it because the game lasted past the movie trilogies.
Yeah.
And they are like, well, what the fuck do we do? Like, we don't have any more content for our game. So there is, yeah. So there in 2004, because it came out in 2001.
Yeah.
So it came out in 2001. So like it was in print for 3 years. Every movie came out, and then in 2004 there were no more movies. So they released a set called Shadows, and Shadows had a big overhaul to the game. And that was when they were going to start doing rotation. So for me, I would only be interested in collecting up to the movie years. So I do not care about the 3 years of content after the movie years. So that's what I'd want to do. I'd want to just create a movie years set, a complete set of movie years cards, and then just basically have my own, like, this is the thing. And then I got thinking about that, and I was like, well, do I really want to like do all that work? Because I could just get the Lord of the Rings living card game instead. And I never really played that too much. And it's just kind of like, and it's like, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to spend all this money, like I basically, I went on a very long journey of self-discovery and reflection. And my final result was, if I do decide to jump into a Lord of the Rings game, it just needs to be the miniatures game.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty key.
Yeah, that is kind of how it just all went down. I was just like, I just really needed to I'm like, you know what? If I ever do this, if I ever really want to get into a Lord of the Rings game, I'm just going to do the miniatures game.
I'm just doing the minis game. I mean, you're right to do so. The Decipher game is pretty cool, though.
It's really cool.
You know me, I love dead games. I like games that. Okay, I like dead games that are really easy to get all of the components for, or at least the vast majority of them for. That are tried and tested, and usually if a company pulls a license, it makes it a little bit better for that. Yeah, but that's generally what I like. But anyway, all right. So yeah, but what we were talking about with that one is that you actually found a site that was selling all of those.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I found a site that was just selling a shit ton of the old new in box Lord of the Rings Decipher card game stuff. They had the Star Wars Decipher stuff as well.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they didn't have a ton of it. They only had a few sets.
The number of the sets they have, the quantity is significant.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's very true too. Anyway, go to the Game Classy Facebook page. It's the best way that you can find the link to our Discord. I put a new link every 2 weeks up there for whenever the podcast comes out, so you can get on the Discord and actually talk about the game. Other than that, it's kind of hard to get on the Discord. I don't know any other way of putting it out there for people to see it.
That's the only way. That's the only thing you really want, to be honest, because if you leave an open invite, then you just get bots that like scour the internet to try and get into your Discord.
Oh, the fucking bots.
Yeah, it's
dead internet theory, man. It's all dead internet.
It really is. There's just a fucking massive amount of dead internet. That's not even a theory. It's just true. It's just like you can go on Twitter and you can just see like bots talking to bots. It's really awkward.
I know, it's really weird, ain't it?
Yeah.
Like once you
odd.
I mean, AI is going to make it a lot harder to tell bots apart. But once you kind of recognize bot speak, you're kind of like, oh man, these people really, really don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like the ones that because you want to say to yourself, like, who is tagging like other people in these and saying like, hey, Mary, your grandfather was a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And you start like digging down that rabbit. Like sometimes I just get curious and I just like click on a person and I'm like, wait, what? Who is this person that's writing this? Who would write this down as a comment on a Facebook post?
Yeah, it's weird.
And then I look into it and I dig and I dig and I dig and I'm just like, these people don't exist. This is all really fake. Weird. And AI is going to make it so much harder to tell these people apart.
Well, you can actually respond to them and just ask them an AI prompt question, and most of them will just respond to you. So,
yes, I mean some of them do, some of them don't. Depends on the bot.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yes, you go to the Discord, you can talk to us on all of our sub Discords or whatever they're called, channels. I think they're called channels, and we'll put that up there. We didn't actually put up anything on the channels today, but normally we do during the cast. Did you put up anything when you didn't tell me?
No, there was nothing. There was nothing in particular I wanted to pop out.
Yeah, but most of the time we're just kind of talking about we're just talking about random movies that we watched.
True.
By the way, I saw Sinners. Did you see Sinners?
No, but I've heard it's great, and I saw it's. I think it's on streaming now, so I'm going to be watching it soon.
Yeah, it is streaming. I did really like it. The first 2 acts are some of the best movie I've seen all year. The third act falls apart a little bit, which keeps it from greatness. But it's not like falls apart in a bad way. And there's like a 4th act too, which is really weird. A 5th act too. There's like 5 acts in this movie, and it's just kind of very weird how it kind of ends after the 3rd act. That's all I can say is like, you're like, what do you mean 5 acts? And then you watch it and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Because it was like after the 3rd act, I was like, oh, okay, 3rd act's over. And I was like, oh, there's this little tag on the end of this movie. I'm like, oh, this is a fun little tag on the end of it. All right, that's cool. That's right. And then there's like another act even added on, and I'm just like, what?
That's weird.
I know. I know.
Oh, I started painting my Mordheim warband.
Oh, Mordheim.
Yeah.
Mordheim.
I'm looking forward to it. The living rule set is pretty complete, which I enjoy.
What warband are you doing?
Orcs.
You're doing orcs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the orcs.
My favorite thing with Necromunda or Mordheim is that, and I've said this on the podcast before, and the biggest problem with getting together people to play any specialist games is that immediately everyone is going to take the warbands that broke the game or the faction that broke the game. So whenever you're like, the always go to with Battlefleet Gothic is someone will always say, I'm gonna play Necrons.
Yeah, Necrons are the like pinnacle of of that example. Like exactly. no specialist game had an army break the game as hard as Necrons did.
Necromundus first edition with the Spire Gang.
But the Spire Gang were a launch, weren't they? Weren't they at launch?
Spires were not. Spires were the fancy guys who had the specialized suits.
Okay. I thought they were a launch faction. I knew they were broken, but I thought they were broken from the get-go.
No, in first edition, the main box was Orlok and Van Sar, I believe.
Okay.
Or I could be mistaken on that one, but there was it was Van Sar, Orlok, Escher, Caudor, Delac, and I'm forgetting the other one. But that was like the 6 main gangs. But everyone, like when you say Necromunda, immediately 2 of my players were like, I want to play Gene Stealer Cult, and the other person was like, I'm going to play Chaos Cult, and I'm like, God fucking damn it, just pick the standard warbands, people. Like, I don't need to like that was always the problem. Is like when playing Mordheim, it's like person would be like, I'm playing Shadow Warriors, and it's like, fuck, now I got to go track down the Shadow Warriors rules.
The one nice thing about Mordheim now is because the Mordheimer is kind of is just like set out there. It has everything in one place, so all of the rules are there for everything. Everything's updated. It has all the FAQs built in, and it is a hub. It has everything. So even the weird ones.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Part of the problem with that and with the Mordheimer is it's hard to tell what's official and what's house ruled or fan made. The other thing is that what I want to do when I'm playing a game, and I know this is the antithesis of what many players do nowadays, is I want a book. That's all I want. I want one book that I can look up or maybe 2 books, like a book for the rules, a book for the warbands. That's fine. But I need to have a physical copy in my hand so that I can look through it.
You will be excited to see that they have also one of the things that on the warbands on Mordheimer, they have exactly what you want. They have a list of warbands. The first one is grade 1A. What does grade 1A mean? Official Games Workshop / Fanatic rules.
It has. They're adding all these layers. It's layered. It's like an onion.
That's the official. That is what you just wanted. The official rule set.
Layers are like onions.
So you want the official rules? It is right there. It has everything, and it has where it's from as well. It's like this is from the Empires in Flame expansion from Mordheim. It has where it has its source. Then after so what you would play, like what if you wanted to run Mordheim, you would say, hey, we're doing Mordheim. You can use anything from grade 1A. And that ends the conversation there, because that is, you just said you want to use only stuff that's official. Done. You have there, which is so, and that has Aberlanders, Beastmen Raiders, Carnival of Chaos, Cult of the Possessed, Dwarf Treasure Hunters, Kids of Lights, Mercenaries, Orc Mob, Ostlanders, Sisters of Sigmar, Skaven, Undead, Witch Hunters. Full stop. End. That is everything that is official Games Workshop done. The next layer is 1B, which is unofficial but released through Games Workshop. So these are things.
This is too complicated, Steve.
Well, but see, you're already done. You're finished. You're doing 1A. Your interaction is complete. I'm just saying, if you want to go deeper, you can. But in the Mordheimer, they gave you that gradient. So if you wanted to do, I want to run official, just what counts. This is like, I want to run actual Mordheim and then just use the Mordheim rulebook. You're good, man. You play grade 1A. The gradients, there are 5 tiers of content, and they have every single thing, and they tell you where is it from, how, because it says unofficial but released through Games Workshop, because that's stuff that's like from like a White Dwarf, or well, in Mordheim's case, it would be Town Crier. So stuff that was in Town Crier, Citadel Journals. That stuff that's official but unofficial, because you remember there was the great Storm of Chaos debacle where White Dwarf, this, like all rules released in White Dwarf and supplements, are not official. Then there is 1C, which is not released through Games Workshop. So this is people who this is approved by people who previously wrote for Games Workshop. And then they have 2A, which is fan tested. Then they have 2B, which is not anything past 2B and 3 is not actually on the Mordheimer. That is all considered fan brew system, and that's they put that on a separate page.
Anyway,
I'm just saying they have exactly your exact request was granted.
But not in book form.
No, not in book form. But at this point, how expensive the Mordheim rulebook is, you're gonna be printing it off of Lulu anyway. So
yeah, very much so.
I couldn't believe how expensive because I was like, because I bought when I was dabbling with trying to get into War Master, I was like, I'll buy a War Master rulebook, and the War Master rulebook was like $30 on eBay, and I'm like, yeah, that's good.
Well, that's also because War Master rulebook was always sold separately. The Mordheim rulebook was never sold separately.
Dude, they're asking $150 for a not great condition Mordheim rulebook. That's crazy.
Yes, very much so. I remember I had like 3 copies of that fucking rulebook too, and I sold all of them for probably like pennies. Anyway, yes, you go to the you could also, if you want to help out the podcast, you can like, comment, subscribe on the iTunes, or you could like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. If you want to see more of my stuff, you could go to my Instagram at GameClassyJoe. If you want to see more of Steve's stuff, you could talk to him on the Discord.
Talk to me on the Discord.
Yes, he does. He puts up a lot of minis lately. Steve's been on top of his mini game.
I am going. I told you I have the itis.
Yeah, the itis. You got the dip is what you got.
Okay. Well, I did mess with the dip on the Bushido. I used the Bushido and the BattleTech to like just try some shit out, and like, yeah, that's okay.
We talked about that last cast.
Yeah. I'm going high effort on the Mordheim Warband though.
High fucking effort.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, my problem is that I was making an army. This summer I was gonna do an army for Horus Heresy 2.0, and then 3.0 came out, and I'm like, oh, fuck, all my plans are.
Your plans have been destroyed.
Good thing that I didn't actually buy anything for the army. I just printed it, so I didn't have to worry too much.
Oh, hey, actually, speaking of printing, do you have Hexton Hills?
I do.
I want you to print some Hexton Hills for me.
We'll talk about that.
We must talk about that, because I was gonna get it through Etsy, but nobody's fucking offering it.
Yeah, actually, I want to see how Hexton Hills does on my FDM like plastic printer as opposed to the resin printer, because the resin printer, they're big tiles.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they take up a lot of resin to paint and to print. So I want to see how they do on the plastic printer more before anything else.
Word.
Yes. Because I have looked into that. I do like Hexton Hills quite a bit. It's a great set.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking wanted it, but I was like, yeah, I'll just get those off, because I was like, I could get those off Etsy. I'm sure they're not fucking there. There's just no one doing Hexton fucking Hills.
No, you probably be. I wonder if it's because it takes up so much resin to do.
Maybe
you could probably make it smaller, and it probably would work a little bit better than the actual tiles, because the actual tiles themselves are fairly large. I would say that they're about, I don't know, 3 inches in diameter, which is pretty big.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, you could shrink those down. I don't need the tiles to be that. I mean, if you want to print them in that size for your purposes of testing, that's fine. But like, I don't need them to be that large because I want to make a modular campaign map.
Yeah.
Because I think we talked about it. We talked about the allure of 10 millimeter and how it fools you into thinking that you'll play a 10 millimeter game someday.
Yep, and it's a lie.
And it's a lie, but I do want to like mess with some 10 millimeter stuff, and I think I figured out the actual way to do that, which is make an accessory for other games. So literally just making a campaign map, a modular campaign map, and then using 10 millimeter stands as the markers for armies and stuff on that, but not trying to play a 10 millimeter game.
That's what I did for when I did the what's it called, General's Compendium campaign when I worked at the bunker. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing a General's Compendium campaign. Have that set up and ready to go. That's the idea.
All right. So, Steve, until next time.
Let's get down to business. To defeat the Huns, did they send me daughters when I asked
for sons? Later.
Game classy.